Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for inviting me here tonight. I know I spoke here a couple months back about Operation Venona, but tonight I'm here to present something new, something different. This is going to our Israeli friends. I will be heading there next week. Please let me know your comments, concerns, anything that I need to change before I take it over to them next week. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the comprehensive intelligence strategy for countering the shadow drone enigma. Introduction. It's precise drone intrusions like never before. The shadow drone mystery. Israel should rely upon signals intelligence, operations intelligence, measurement signals intelligence, human intelligence, and geospatial intelligence. A lot. With AI in the loop for future attribution and threat mitigation. Right? And we'll be talking a little bit about AI a little bit later. Historical successes from Stuxnet to Operation Orchard suggest Israel's historical patterns of multimodal intelligence integration within and across domains. Right? Let's start with the signals, the signal intelligence strategy. We're going to be talking about Unit 8200. Cyber access to communications between the air and Iranian-backed militias. Machine learning-based classifiers to assess deviation from communication patterns that aren't operating parameters of average communication with a drone. Signal detection through RAM and SCS. The pros of this strategy, by utilizing this strategy, decrypted almost instantaneously penetrates the enemy's own cyberspace. Stuxnet is up there again. If y'all don't remember, that was a computer developed around 2010, and it was developed in order to target Iran's nuclear facility at Natanz. I don't know how to really say that location. I apologize. The cons of signals intelligence strategy will be communication is sent with already little intention for enemy to want to do the same and receive interception for themselves. So it can completely backfire in our face. All right. Open source intelligence strategy. Utilize ground sources, Telegram channels, and commercial satellite imagery. Employ NLP for disinformation operations against Israel. Analyze commercial SAR and EO satellite changes in border regions. The benefits of open source intelligence would be a broad understanding of information/disinformation narrative construction, right? The benefits, I think this gets overlooked a lot of times, is when we're fighting an adversary, they'll be telling their people one thing, and just by the use of social media now in our century, we can post verifiable and factual information, and the adversary, their government, their people under them can see that and completely revolt against the government and help us out in winning whatever war we're in, the type of confrontation, whatever it is. I think that's often overlooked, and I don't think that we try to reach the heights we should reach with that, because this is a very valuable strategy. Now, the drawbacks is a lot to process risk of adversary interference, right? Adversaries can totally interfere with that, just block it off from their people, do whatever the case may be, right? And that's the drawback. All right. Measurement and signals intelligence strategy. Drone electromagnetic signature for propulsion type determination. Drone radar cross-section patterns for acknowledgement. And this is a drone variants, most likely Iranian ones in this case. Material analysis of debris The advantages of this strategy is high confidence for attribution. Disadvantages requires access to debris. Human intelligence strategy. Establish covert networks to penetrate proxy institutions in Syria and Lebanon. Use assets to understand the transportation networks, drone storage sites, and firing teams. Use partner forces to validate information. All right, want to hit on that. Use assets because they do have assets. They're in Israel. They have ourselves here. So that's a very big thing with human intelligence. Is we can go help them out because they are our allies at the end of the day. The pros of this is ground truth confirmation, broad area operation, right? So we can actually confirm what's going on. We got people down there, they can actually validate, you see with their own eyes what's going on. The cons is always, it's always the same: potential for detection and longer time to implement, right? It is very, very, very tricky. It is very vital, but it's also tricky at the same time because it caused one mistake and then national news is made, and we don't want that to happen. Geospatial intelligence strategy. IAI made satellites, OFEC, EROS, Texar, to scout where drone launches are likely to occur. Predictive analytics recognize patterns in land usage, thermal imagery, and supply chains. The benefits of this strategy is high resolution imaging, right? And constant access, something we can instantly monitor. The downsides is enemy camouflage and mobility. And I think that's where we're at now in the times, is that technology is rapidly advancing, right? So we can have our geospatial intelligence, right? And we have the benefits, the high resolution imaging, you know, technology advancing, all that sorts of stuff. But sometimes we don't know what we're up against, right? Their camouflage could completely go through, you know, recognizing patterns like thermal, sound frequencies, all types of stuff that they use in their day-to-day operations. They can completely camouflage it, and we wouldn't know about it. So sometimes we don't know what we're up against. So that's definitely the downside, is their mobility and also their ability to camouflage. All right, now on the topic of AI, because I said we would get to it tonight, responsible AI integration, right? This is a very simple one, but it's often overlooked. Require human verification of all AI suggestions, right? We could use AI to help us, right? But it can also hurt us at the same time. So this is why it's very vital that we have actual people like ourselves verify what AI is telling us or suggesting to us. Reduce bias by training models on diverse data sets. Require explainable AI to maintain responsibility. And there's also ethical considerations, right? Reading can be misconstrued that raise tensions. Expediency should not come at the expense of accuracy, right? I'm gonna say that again. Expediency should not come at the cost of accuracy. Let's talk a little bit about the historical precedent for integrated intelligence. Stuxnet, I covered it a little bit a while ago, went from signal intelligence, cyber infusion capabilities to novel, next tier, advanced, even more means of acquisition. Operation Orchard, geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence collection facilitated successful destruction of a Syrian nuclear reactor. Both successful operations lend Israel confidence to continue such multi-intelligence based operations with a free hand That is what we're trying to mimic. That's what we're aiming for, a successful operation. Our recommended course of action: number 1, signals intelligence and measurement and signals intelligence. Joint assessments of what type of drone. Geospatial intelligence is to locate those launch sites from where the trajectories came. Human intelligence is to corroborate operational cells and resupply. 4, establish infrastructure or cyber attack / de-attack on established infrastructure. And number 5, attack the misinformation through open source intelligence, tracking, and rapid response social messaging that is actually factual. Like I mentioned, that can turn the tide of the people that we are fighting, right? They can get told one thing when in reality it's another thing. So please keep all these in mind. I'm getting ready to wrap this up. I will have this PowerPoint posted and the SharePoint by the end of the night for all of you. To wrap things up here tonight, responsible AI gives Israel its unified intelligence requirements for speed of attribution and targeting. An all-domain strategy will protect key infrastructure, defeat enemy narratives, and restore deterrence. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for inviting me here tonight. I look forward to hearing your recommendations for anything further on what we need to do to help our friends out. And may God bless you all. Thank you.